Hey, good morning, folks. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa with the MLive Morning Weather Update. We got to start with a little bit of a talk. I got to kind of set you back to reality. How does that sound? You know, we talk about normal temperatures in Michigan, and I wonder if that does us a disservice because our normal is an average of 30 temperatures for that day, 30 years. So a high temperature for today, April 19th, is the last 30 years high temperature. And they are up and down, up and down, up and down. Then we try to say that somewhere in the middle is what we should be. Eh, I don't know if it really works like that at certain times here in Michigan. And certainly this time of the year is one of those. Northeast wind, north wind, cold water off of the lakes, south wind, summer air comes back into the area. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to remind you, I also had to remind my lovely wife too, that last week and Saturday was 30 to 35 degrees warmer than normal, 25 to 35 degrees warmer than normal, and record high temperatures. And I also want to remind you that that would not be good if we stayed like that for another 4 or 5 days, because certainly we got a frost on the way. So here's the reality check. These are the normal or average high temperatures for today. So you're looking at normal high of 58 to 60 basically in the southern half of the state, and 50 to 55 in the northern half of lower Michigan. So when we were 85 last week, way above normal. And when we're 48 or 50 today in places, not too far below normal. So again, let's just a little recap a little bit. Back to reality. These are the normal high temperatures now, 58 to 60 in the southern half of the state. And by the end of the month, about 62, a very common number. Radar showing showers developing off to the west, and so that will spew clouds our way. East side of the state, you get some sunshine. Southwest side of the state, you get some sunshine. Northern part of lower Michigan, you don't get any. And then eventually we all cloud up because we'll be having a warm front heading our way. The beauty of this now is I can grab the latest off the high resolution rapid refresh. So we go into this afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock. Let me get it so you can see it nicely. There we go. Hey, good morning, Amber Rose Washer. I have a outside B-Day party planned for May 6th. How's it looking? It's a little bit too early to tell on, a precipitation thing for there, but generally at that time, you're probably looking at afternoon temperatures making it into the 60s. So here's the radar forecast. This afternoon, maybe northern Michigan, Traverse City, northward up into the UP gets some rain showers, maybe mixed with some snow in there. And then the warm front moves through this evening and overnight. And so Saginaw, the Thumb, Mount Pleasant, Muskegon, you get into showers and thunderstorms. And they kind of hover along the warm front until it starts to swing northward during the morning tomorrow. And you could see with the cold front off to the west, thunderstorms in Iowa tomorrow afternoon. That's probably what comes through Friday morning. Now remember, severe weather is usually, piece of it is the timing thing. If it comes through in the late afternoon or early evening, storms are severe. If a cold front comes through in the morning, they're usually not severe. Usually. Sorry, Joe Stockwell. How long am I going to make us wait to plant our garden? I think you could plant some of the cold hardy stuff now if you could cover it if we got a real hard freeze, which looks possible early next week. But otherwise, the true vegetables that most people plant, you're probably looking at mid-May. So here is the forecast off the Europeans. So Friday, that cold front comes through, and then we're still watching that wave. Most of the data shows that wave develops along that front and comes up to us on Saturday and makes at least the eastern half of the state a soaker. We will be watching that. And then we go into next week, and you see some of the blue lines. That's kind of on the cool side. We're going to have to take it a couple of days at a time here because there's a lot going on. Now, this is out at next Thursday and Friday, and the warmth is trying to build, but there's an odd cutoff low pressure system. And one thing I want to say about that is that that's 10 days out in a pattern change, in a season change of the year, an odd looking pattern forecast. I don't know that I would trust all of that. Now, let's incorporate into the 2 to 3 week forecast the 800-pound gorilla, global warming, and how the pattern has reacted, let's say this winter, on any cold snap. It's always let up quicker than what the models have shown out at 10 and 11 days. So my thought would be that we really start to see the cold air dissolve. Not that we would go to a hot pattern, but I think we're going to see a gradual dissolving of the cold air back to highs in the 55 to 65 degree range by the time we get to the last days of April and certainly into May. So here's a little closer of a look. Tonight we get showers and thunderstorms, and then that cold front comes through. It looks like we'll call it early Friday morning. And then the main thing that we'll watch is, does this wave of low pressure develop just to our east in Ontario and swing in a cold, nasty Saturday to us, and then behind it cold enough air for some spurts of snow showers. Tim Welch, how's the weather for Algonac the weekend of the 28th? That's a little far out just yet. And then we go into early next week, and we watch a couple of storm systems next week. But like I said, a muddled pattern out in the extended. All I would say is that we would probably tend to be cooler than normal, but I wouldn't call it cold. And cooler than normal can bring a frost still at this time of the year. So high temperatures today, 60 in the southwest corner, 57 Flint, 56 in Saginaw if you're lucky, 46 in Traverse City, and only in the 30s in the UP. Tomorrow we bounce to 75 to 80 degrees from Saginaw southward. And then Friday isn't too bad, about 60. But then next week this weekend we get cool down. Oh boy, here we go again. All right, well, we'll get this done. So cool weather next week, but I wouldn't necessarily call it cold, and I wouldn't believe 10 days out. And a lot of you have access to data. I've been getting emails today. Oh gosh, 10 days out. Look at this. Remember, models aren't that great at that timeout period. So don't take that as like exact, especially in this time of the year, pattern change coming, global warming. We've been in a warm pattern. The atmosphere wants to be warm. It's warm to the south. I think things could erode quickly as far as the cold air goes, a lot quicker than what we think. And so don't get too depressed. It's going to all work out fine, but we still do have some frosts and or hard freezes on the way. Hey, thanks for joining me. Sorry, I got to cut this short, and you're probably happy. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.